Welcome to the Etihad Cargo Connections with 10 Furlongs magazine. I'm your host today, Aurelian Drumian. Today, we welcome Ted Wojciechowski, Director of Sales at OBS Sales, to discuss the prestigious auction house rich legacy and innovative strides in immersive experiences, relevance of AI integration in the near future, and successful thoroughbred sales events. Join us as we uncover the meticulous process behind selecting top quality horses and explore OBS Sales' future prospects in the industry. Thank you so much, Ted, for being here.
Enjoy being with you.
So, Ted, can you provide us a brief overview of OBS Sales and its rich legacy in the auctioning of thoroughbreds?
Sure. So OBS started in the mid-'70s. It was the brainchild of local breeders that were looking for ways to market horses. And really, it was the genesis of the two-year-old sales as we know them today. Most of the breeders here were raising quality athletes. Maybe they didn't have the blue blood pedigrees that one would normally find in Kentucky. And so they were looking for a way to market, differentiate their product, and show that they had ability on the racetrack. And that's when they decided, hey, why don't we put these horses under tack and sell them as two-year-olds in training and be able to display their ability. So really, the genesis of two-year-old sales is right here in Ocala, Florida. From that, we've grown over the years. We've had mixed sales, we have yearling sales, but certainly our bailiwick is the two-year-olds in training.
Okay, fair enough. How does OBS Sales provide embracing and immersive auction experiences for its clients during its physical events?
Well, unlike some other sales, our facility is totally dedicated to selling thoroughbreds at auction and specifically two-year-olds in training. So we have a pretty extensive facility for that. We have a mile racetrack that we use, synthetic track that we use for our under tack show. We also have a 5/8 of a mile training track. We have over 1,200 stalls on the grounds.
Wow.
Once horses are here, you're right, it's pretty immersive.
Great. Let's talk a little bit about technology. Could you maybe elaborate a little bit more on the role of technology, in modernizing OBS Sales operations and how it has helped increase OBS Sales reach, worldwide?
Sure. So obviously, technology affects us in everyday life, and nowadays we can't. Here I am sitting on a Zoom call on my iPhone. That wouldn't have happened a few years ago. But honestly, the COVID pandemic, as horrible as that was for the world, there was some positives that came out of that, and probably most notably would be the advent of online bidding for the auction companies.
Wow.
Really, prior to COVID, there wasn't an appetite for anyone to bite off online bidding. When COVID hit, people were stuck, shelter in place. Suddenly, there was quite an impetus behind getting it. We were the first auction company, at least in the United States. I don't know about it internationally, but we were the first auction company in the country to offer online bidding on a live auction event. Now it's become commonplace. Prior to COVID, I would have said, I don't see how that works. And after COVID, I don't know how we live without it. It's become a part of the fabric of the sales. Add to that, over the years, and it has evolved, the videos of the under tack show have become such an important tool that buyers use, particularly if they're not able to attend the under tack show in person. The video is a good representation of that horse's ability. And again, partly through COVID, the walking videos have now become more prominent. People couldn't make it to the sales. They at least get to see that horse on the end of a shank on their walking videos. So I think those are the main things that technology is. I can tell you, years ago, I sold two-year-olds prior to taking over as director of sales, and we used to have a VHS camera and would video your own horses and then have a VHS tape back at the barn for people to see their under tack show.
Sure.
My wife would be out there with this giant VCR out on the balcony, the viewing stand, trying to video the horses. And now, by the time our first set of breezers, we break about every, anywhere from 40 to 50 head to groom the racetrack. By the time the tractors are about off the racetrack, we've got that first set of videos up on our website, and people are already looking at it.
Wow. So just in a matter of a few years, just pre-COVID, post-COVID, that's quite amazing. Yes. Wow. Was it easy to adjust?
To which? The online bidding?
Yes.
There was some learning curves at the beginning, some fears. Most of them were unwarranted. Okay. The company that we use, and you asked questions, I saw partnerships, Xera, which is the company that really held our hand through the process, and they said, hey, we're going to give you a lifeboat to get you through this, but then we're going to build you a ship. And they have, and they've done a good job. And as a matter of fact, they are the company that both the other two big auction houses in the States, Keeneland and Fasig-Tipton, both use Xera. So they were very helpful in getting it. The amazing part to us was the latency. There's no latency at all in that process, and we were very concerned about it. And we were concerned that we didn't want the online bidding to lead the auction. We wanted the auction to lead the online bidding, and it works very well that way.
Excellent, that's great. So let's talk a little bit about your successes. What have been some notable highlights or successes of OBS Sales annual sales events for thoroughbreds in 2023?
Well, the obvious one is the Breeders' Cup Classic winner, White Barrio. He was a two-time sales graduate at OBS. He graduated from our mixed sale as a short yearling and then sold in our March 2-year-olds in training sale. So obviously we'll point to that one first. But, I would say, whether it's the 135 graded stakes winners we've had this year, 33 entrants on Breeders' Cup weekend, the number of participants that we had in Dubai and in Saudi for the Saudi Cup, and the success that we experienced over there, the success we experienced in Japan. So I think, it's really kind of has an international flavor, not just a domestic flavor for us.
That's amazing for sure. How does OBS Sales ensure that it constantly selects top quality horses for its auction?
Well, our success as far as getting, our successes in the past and in the future and the ability to get top quality horses really is a factor of our consigners, our sellers that bring the horses to us. They're quality horsemen. We're blessed to have quite a unique and talented group of horsemen in our areas that bring horses to the sale. One of the things that I always try to tell people, particularly if they're not familiar with buying at the 2-year-old sales, is not only are you buying that horse for his racing potential, but one of the things that people don't think about is you're buying the expertise of the people that prepared that horse for you for the races. And these guys do a great job of that, evidenced by the success the horses are having at the racetrack.
Wow, that sounds pretty amazing.
So, as far as the, getting the ensuring that we keep top quality horses coming, it's a function of our consigners. They do a great job.
Okay, fair enough. And what is the process of cherry picking horses? Like I don't want to repeat myself, but sure. For you yourself, like what are the meticulous process of cherry picking horses for the auctions?
So I would say for us, it's not as much cherry picking as it is having a great relationship with our sellers and helping them try to figure out the best sale to sell their horses. We tell people all the time, if you're getting your young horses ready and you have one that you wish the sale was tomorrow, that he's very forward, aggressive, that's a March horse. If you have one that says, another week or two, this horse, the light bulb will go off. That's an April horse. And if you have one that says, you know what, he's a little immature, he's a later fall, he needs to grow up, that's a June horse. And really working with our consigners to help them place their horses in the best sale that allows them to display their horse's abilities. That's really I think the key to keeping it moving, doing well with the horses.
So it's definitely the process behind the scene. Definitely.
Yes.
Great. Very good. Let's talk a bit about client satisfaction, which I think is very important, especially at OBS Sales. What measures do you take to ensure consistent client loyalty?
Well, one thing that we always have to keep in mind, we have two types of clients. We have buyers and we have sellers. So their interests don't always align. So we try to keep that in mind, but most often they do. Providing a quality facility and environment for the seller of horses that he can display his horse's ability and display his wares as best as possible is a concern to us. And then also creating comfort and availability for the buyers. Ultimately, the most important thing that creates client loyalty is the success of the horses on the racetrack. And if we continue to focus on that, our customers will be well.
Excellent. Could you tell me some stories, success stories, or maybe anecdotes demonstrating OBS Sales' reputation for excellence in the industry, auctioning industry?
Well, I think the biggest thing would be to point to I would point to the rise in international attention that we've received from buyers. The amount of international clients has increased dramatically over the last 10 years. And I mean, all I can say is it has to be from them seeing the success of the horses at the racetrack. And the success of few pioneers that came over and bought horses that took them back to their respective countries and did well with them. Horsemen notice that and they pay attention. And so I would say that would be a most notable anecdote for me is the increase in international business that we've had.
That's amazing. Is it difficult to manage to have, especially online auctions and dealing with international buyers?
I wouldn't say difficult. There are some challenges. Sometimes time difference is an issue. Language barriers can be an issue, but we try to make sure that we have those bases covered to try to make the buyers feel as comfortable as they can. And they, the one thing about OBS, we're not a very robust staff. We are a very tight-knit unit, and we wear a lot of different hats, and most of the buyers know they can walk in my office anytime with any problems they may have.
That's great. What future plans or development does OBS Sales have in terms of expanding its offerings or maybe services?
I don't know that expanding our sales, there's reaches a point where a lot of our buyers say, hey, don't make them much larger. We can't handle the looking process. Because keep in mind that the 2-year-old sales are quite different than the yearling sales in that these horses are here for an extended period of time. Our breeze shows, particularly say our April sale, which is kind of our flagship sale, spans over 7 days. And I tell everyone all the time, nobody breezes more horses over as many days as OBS anywhere in the world.
Wow.
So with all that said, I don't know how much we can expand the existing sales. I suppose we would always keep an eye towards adding a sale later if it's warranted. I see us moving into digital sales. We've been a little slow to that market, but I can see us getting in there in the future. And then also a continued upgrade of our facilities and just trying to make the customer experience as positive as possible.
Thank you. That's very good. So we talked, Todd, about challenges. I want to go back to that. Are there any specific challenges or trends in the auctioning industry that OBS Sale is addressing or capitalizing on?
We're always keeping eyes on any trends that might affect our business. Obviously the economy and will have an effect on the auction business, and we're always keeping an eye on that stuff. But I don't see anything really new on the horizon for me.
Wow, very good. Competition is fine. That's also something that could be problematic, I guess. Well, there's good competition and bad competition.
Yeah, the hard part is with the 2-year-old sales, it's very resource intense as far as facilities. And we're so well positioned for that, it's difficult for others to get a foothold.
Fair enough. That's great. That's great for you, for sure.
Yeah.
How do you see the relationship between OBS sales and the racing world evolving in the coming years?
I think we'll see continued growth in the international market. I think as that segment of our sales increases, I think we will definitely see growth there. And continued when people continue to see the advantages and the benefits of purchasing 2-year-olds, it will continue to grow.
Excellent. Is there any region that maybe seems to be more interested into purchasing? You mentioned.
Well, definitely Northern Hemisphere is key. It's very hard for Southern Hemisphere, because of the age differences. But I think the Northern Hemisphere, obviously.
Okay, great. Can you discuss now any partnerships or maybe collaborations that OBS Sales has established to?
Well, I mentioned Xera, and they're our online bidding partner. But you know what? The most important relationships and partnerships that we have is with our sellers.
Well, that's a good answer for sure. Definitely. And finally, Todd, last question, which was quite quick. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today about OBS Sales mission or maybe the vision for the future?
Well, we're committed to selling horses. That's what our facility is committed to, and our focus is constantly on selling racehorses.
Very good.
That is a commitment we will continue to have.
Great dedication for sure. Well, thank you so much for the interview today, Todd.
You bet. Enjoyed it.
That's awesome. Thank you. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.